These are the Glasgow art policies and procedures for Glasgow Middle School. It is a real pleasure to have you in art this semester. We'll focus on building and refining your knowledge and skills developed through the elementary and middle school art program. Students are taught to use a variety of thinking frames to form concepts, analyze and respond to artworks, and produce meaningful artwork. For your art materials, they are incredibly important to your success in this course. More specific information will be coming out soon about art supply pickup at Glasgow on February 8th, 2021. However, you should know art materials are free to all students and will be necessary for you to be able to complete your assignments in this class. So make sure that you have time to stop by school and pick them up, or someone else in your family has time to stop by and pick them up. Some of the materials might include things like a sketchbook, 6x9 assorted papers, glue stick, a Sharpie pen and a Sharpie marker, a pencil, some colored pencils, a big eraser, cardstock, watercolor paints, watercolor paper, and other worksheets that will be useful for you during class. However, thinking back on your experience with art, what would you say is your favorite art material to work with? It is very important that you do not use the supplies until your teacher tells you to. Keep them in a safe place away from younger siblings, water, pets, etc. These supplies cannot be replaced if they are lost, destroyed, or used up before a project is completed. Ask for help before you start over, or you will run out of materials. These are your materials for the entire course. If we return to school, you will need to bring them in order to complete your work in school. Pablo Picasso once said, "Every child is an artist. The problem is how to remain an artist once we grow up." Do you agree or disagree with what he said, and why? For your sketchbook, we will be following the objectives of the IBMYP Arts. Students are required to maintain a developmental workbook included in the art materials in which notes, sketches, and work is kept. Throughout the class, students are required to post images from their sketchbook in order to meet class and grading requirements, which means you will need to show the work that you have on paper in a digital format to your teacher. You do need to turn in your assignments for grading. Paper sketchbooks are for working in and practicing in, but your teacher can only grade what is turned in on Google Classroom. So you will need to photograph and upload images of anything done on paper so that your teacher can see your work. Where do you think you would turn in your work? A, Google Classroom, or B, your paper sketchbook? If you answered your Google Classroom, you're correct. Your paper sketchbook is not something that your teacher can access. You have to turn in work on Google Classroom. As a school, we strongly believe in academic integrity, and students shall be held to a high standard. Plagiarism, whether written or visual, is taken seriously. Students should only take credit for images they created themselves, which means, in short, you cannot turn in work that you found on a Google image search and claim that you created it. Can you, the student, turn in this image if I made it? A, no, never. B, yes, but only if the student runs out of time to do their own work. Or C, yes, always, anytime. If you said A, no, never, you're absolutely right. Turning in somebody else's original work and claiming it as your own is plagiarism. It is not only illegal, but it is wrong. You will not be allowed to do that in this course. As far as grading, your synchronous assignments are limited in length and time it takes for you to complete them. And there is no penalty for late assignments, and students may turn in work after the due date up until the end of the quarter. You also have Mondays as extra time to allow you to catch up on any classwork. This means there is no excuse for not turning in an assignment. All assignments are accepted, no matter how late they are. All assignments will be graded, so don't give up. Why do you think I always accept late work without penalty? If you said it's to make sure that students are successful no matter what, you're absolutely right. Did you know that I've already graded some work? Log into your SIS Student View account and check your gradebook for this class. What letter grade do you have right now? What do you think you can do about that? Some artists and artworks take longer than others. Use your asynchronous time on Mondays or time during office hours to work on your assignments. Keep in mind your teacher's expectations, though. Not all assignments should take hours. If you're spending hours longer than is supposed to be given for an assignment, you might want to go back and reread the requirements. You might be doing more work than is really necessary. Always try your best, though, and ask for help if you're struggling. Again, you might have misunderstood the directions, and that might be what is being so difficult for you. The establishment of ground rules is for the good of the student and the virtual classroom environment. At all times, students should demonstrate the Panther principles of kindness, commitment, and safety. They're very simple. We want you to respect yourself, respect others, and respect materials in your art classroom. In the virtual classroom, there are some added expectations. It would be great if you turned on your camera in the breakout room. This especially helps when giving feedback about your work. If you need to use your microphone in the main room, you'll need to raise your hand to speak. If you have headphones, it helps when you use them so that there's not feedback when you're speaking. When you use the hand raise, you only use it if it's actually necessary. Don't raise your hand constantly and keep it up constantly if you don't actually have a question. The chat's available in the main room to ask or answer questions, but only if the teacher has asked you to. Don't spam chat and don't paste links in the chat. However, you have access to private chat. If you'd like to say something privately to the teacher without involving the entire classroom, use that for something specific to you. The Glasgow community is very proud of all of its students. Artwork is often shared to promote the art program within the school and the greater community. Please complete this form with your preference for sharing of student work. Thank you. If you have questions, my office hours are Monday from 10:30 to 11:15 and Wednesdays from 2:30 to 3:30. The Google Meet link is in Google Classroom.